Gackers, yackers, welcome to the Gack Yak, a GAC TV podcast where we yak about the gack. I'm Chad Maurice, and I have my Christmas sweater on. I have my Santa hat on because today we are yakking royally wrapped for Christmas. Off the GAC website, the summary says that Lindsay Palmer, the New York director of an international charity organization, is called to the Kingdom of Valdonia by the royal family who runs the foundation to interview for the job of overseeing the whole operation. As Lindsay is put through the interview process, she ends up finding true love with the prince. And this movie was directed by T.W. Peacock, who also directed The Winter Palace. It was written by W. Stewart, and it stars Jen Lilley and Brendan Fehr. So this movie opens up and we see some overhead shots of New York City. Ooh, I'm loving it. We see the city all lit up at night. We see the angels playing the trumpets leading up to the Rockefeller Christmas tree, and I love that. And then we see an overhead shot of the skating rink in front of the Rockefeller Christmas tree, and I love all these shots of New York City because New York City at Christmas time is such a magical place. I can't get enough of it. Then we see a bear. Ooh, that's nice. Then we meet Lindsay and Monica. They work at the Festive Heart Foundation, a place where people donate toys to give to children in need. Lindsay is the manager of the New York branch, and the foundation is run by a royal family located in a country called Valdonia. Monica says this year has been crazy. She's wrapped so many gifts that she woke up with scotch tape behind her ear. And actually, Monica, I've been there. I've woken up with scotch tape behind my ear too, although it wasn't from wrapping gifts. It was because I was in a show a few weeks ago and I was wearing a mic. And after the show ended, I took the mic off and gave it to the sound guy, went home, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and I still had a piece of tape behind my ear. So I know what that's like. They talk about going to a festival later, a festival that Lindsay organized. And they also mention that Lindsay leaves for Valdonia in a month. Lindsay gets a call from the children's hospital. They say, hey, man, we're out of toys. We need some more gifts. So she grabs a bunch of gifts and she heads over to the hospital. Then we see another shot of a skating rink somewhere in New York City. And we see some tall buildings in the background. And that's pretty cool. Then we see both Lindsay and Monica. They arrive at this festival and they're setting up a table. And then we meet Willard and Aidan. And Aidan is played by Brendan Fehr with an accent. We find out that Willard is the international director of this foundation, and he's going to retire after the foundation's 100th anniversary celebration. Willard and Aidan, they're walking around and they decide to split up. And Aidan asks Willard not to tell anyone who he is. Ooh, I wonder who he is. Ooh, guess we'll find out later. Lindsay and Aidan, they literally run into each other, and he knocks all the bows and ribbons that she was carrying all over the ground. And when he bends down to help her pick them all up, he steps on one of the bows, and she's not happy about that. Aidan tells Lindsay that he's never wrapped a Christmas gift, and she looks at him like he's from another planet. He also tells her he's never shopped for anyone either, and he's never bought anyone a Christmas gift. Who is this guy? She says that he has a Grinch heart, and she tells him that she will teach him how to wrap a gift. Willard sees Lindsay. He goes over and strikes up a conversation with her, and we find out that Willard is a close talker. Then Lindsay finds out the guy that she called the Grinch heart works at the foundation. He comes over to her table to learn how to wrap, and she gives him the most difficult thing to wrap. A stuffed animal. So he wraps a bunch of gifts, and Willard tells Lindsay that he wants to talk to her before he leaves town. Next, we see Lindsay and Monica, and they're laughing about how bad those gifts were that Aidan wrapped. So they assume that he is an accountant for the organization. Lindsay tells Monica that don't worry, she's going to rewrap the gifts later. And they check Aidan out as he walks away. And likewise, he turns and checks them out as he leaves. Oh, then we see another shot of New York City at night, all lit up, tall buildings, so cool. Next day, Willard comes to see Lindsay. And he says, I want you to come to Valdonia earlier than planned. He hands her a plane ticket. He says he's inviting several branch managers to assist with the 100th anniversary celebration. Aidan's walking around and he asks Lindsay where the gifts are that he wrapped. He can't find them. Monica tells him, oh, don't worry, they're still in the van. But then Aidan sees the wrapping paper that he used to wrap the gifts in the recyclable bin, and so he realizes that Lindsay rewrapped his gifts. A week goes by, and Monica wants to take Lindsay to the airport, but Lindsay, she's dragging her feet because she's doubting herself and her abilities. Lindsay and Monica exchange gifts, and they have a system. They give 2 gifts to each other, one to give away and one to keep. So Lindsay gives Monica a box of cookies to give away, and she gives her a red sweater to keep, or not sweater, a scarf, red scarf to keep. Monica, she gives Lindsay a gift to give away, but she won't let her open it. She says, you'll know who to give it to when the time is right. And Monica gives Lindsay an ornament that looks like a crown. Next, we see Lindsay on JetBlue heading off to Valdonia, and we see some snow-topped mountains, which are pretty. And we see this quaint little town covered with snow. And then we see the castle. Ooh, the castle's nice and big. Willard welcomes Lindsay to Valdonia, and again, he's close talking. Hey man, 6 feet, buddy. There's a pandemic going on. Then we see an inside shot of the castle, the entryway. Ooh, it's big. It's nice. It's got some Christmas decorations in it. We see the hallway. It's lined with Christmas trees. Got some garland up above the ceiling. Oh, it's looking good. Lindsay goes to her room, and her room is huge. And inside it is 3 Christmas trees. But it's nice. She sees a picture of a woman on the wall staring at her. She wonders who that is. Lindsay introduces herself by curtsying to the woman in the picture, and she takes Monica's ornament and puts it on the tree. Lindsay then meets Matilda, who her friends call Tilly, the director of the foundation of the Mumbai branch, and she meets Shane, who's from Dublin. And Tilly warns Lindsay about Shane's mischief. Willard comes in and tells them that they are the 3 most successful branch managers, and he is looking for someone to take his place when he retires. Then they meet the royal family, the Queen, and Prince Aidan. And ooh, now it's when Lindsay realizes that Aidan is not an accountant, but in fact, he is a prince. Willard decides to give them a tour of the kingdom, so he starts at the bakery. We meet the baker. They order 4 croissants. And then Willard shows them a picture of this woman who's giving the first gift the foundation ever gave to a child. And Aidan steps in and says that is his great-great-aunt Helena. She was the royal baker's daughter. Aidan then says that she and his great-great-uncle Clovis met at the bakery, and his great-great-uncle was supposed to be king, but he gave up the throne to marry Helena, who was a commoner. And those are the 2 that started the Festive Heart Foundation. He also says that his great-great-grandfather Humphrey, Clovis's brother, then became king, and he married Lilibeth. Aidan apologizes to Lindsay for deceiving her at the festival, and she fesses up that she rewrapped the gifts that he wrapped at the festival. And he says, yeah, I knew it anyway. Lindsay, Shane, and Tilly, they're sitting around this table, and Lindsay shares with them an idea she has for the gala. They should share gifts with the royal family. Gifts which tell the story of the history of the foundation in order to convince Parliament how important the foundation is. Willard enters, and Shane tells Willard this gift idea for the gala, but he claims that the idea is his, so he steals Lindsay's gift idea. And Lindsay and Tilly don't say anything. I mean, come on, Tilly. What kind of friend are you? Most friends stick up for each other. Now, why didn't she say to Willard, hey, man, that's not Shane's idea. That was Lindsay's idea. But no, Tilly doesn't say anything. Her lips are zipped. We see another shot of the quaint town covered in snow. I'm not sure where this movie was filmed. I'm assuming it was filmed in Canada, since most of these are. But I don't know where these pictures of this little town were taken. But somewhere nice. I'd like to visit. Then we find out that Aidan is supposed to marry Princess Dahlia of Manchester, and she is on her way for a visit. Ooh. Oh, time for the tree lighting ceremony. Aidan gets up in front of everyone. He gives a 4-sentence speech, but the tree doesn't light. Lindsay notices that the lights aren't plugged in. Hey, buddy, if you're going to have a tree lighting ceremony, you got to plug in the lights. She runs over and she plugs in the tree, and the tree lights up. Aidan walks over and thanks her. And then later, when they're in the castle, Aidan asks Lindsay if she would help him shop for Princess Dahlia, the woman he's supposed to marry. Ooh, I don't think Lindsay doesn't like this idea too much, but she looks up Princess Dahlia on the internet to get some gift ideas, and I think she also starts to get jealous. Willard asks Shane for more details on this gift idea that he has planned for the gala, and since it wasn't his idea, he is speechless. He has no details. But Lindsay speaks up and gives more details. She says the first 5 gifts should represent the first 100 years of the foundation, and the 6th gift should represent the future, the next 20 years. Still, Tilly doesn't say anything, doesn't tell Willard that, hey, all this idea, it's not Shane's idea, it was Lindsay's idea. Still nothing from Tilly. Come on, Tilly. Aidan and Lindsay, they take a romantic walk at night along in front of some fake snow. They run into a fake snowman. Aidan tells her about how his father used to make snowmen to look like the people he knew. So they decide to make Willard the snowman. Lindsay puts some spectacles on the snowman, and Aidan puts a hanky in his shirt pocket. Lindsay then gives Aidan a gift idea for Princess Dahlia. She says a shelter dog. And then he wants to know what her idea for the 6th gift is for the gala. She says, oh, she needs the royal kitchen to show him. She wants to know who the woman is in the picture in her room that keeps staring at her. And he tells her that's Lilley, the woman who his great-great-grandfather, the one who became king, married. Aidan then asks his mother, the queen, what the first gift was that Helena gave for the foundation, and who'd she give it to? Ooh, and his mother starts to squirm in his chair. She knows, but she won't say. Aidan and Lindsay meet in the kitchen. They start to make cookies, and Lindsay tells him the story about when she would make cookies with her grandmother and how they never ate one. Come on, that's a little hard to believe. Her grandmother taught her to give everyone 2 gifts, one to give away and one to keep. And she thinks the foundation should also do that they should give each child 2 gifts, one a box of cookies to give away and one to keep. Next, we see Lindsay and Tilly. They're outside and they're carrying a bunch of fancy wrapped gifts in their arms, and we can assume that these gifts weren't wrapped by Aidan. Aidan and Willard, they're walking around watching people getting ready for this gala, but they can't find Lindsay, so they want to know where Lindsay is. Aidan says he's going to walk around and try to find her, and he finds her singing with a child named Penny. And Penny has made some snowmen ornaments for Aidan. Well, that was nice of her. Aidan asks Penny if he can make an ornament for her, and let's hope he's better at ornament making than he is at gift wrapping. So he makes Penny an angel. Aidan and Lindsay, they go for a walk. I think they're headed back to the castle, I believe. He asks her about her life in New York. He asks if she would like Willard's job when he retires. And she says no. No? What? Why not? And then it begins to snow. Aidan and Lindsay, they arrive back at the castle, and Aidan's mother, the queen, sees them entering together. Ooh, and she does not look happy. Next day, Willard's out for his morning walk, and he sees Willard the snowman that Lindsay and Aidan made, and he gets a kick out of it. He's walking back into the castle, and the queen tells him she has moved up Dahlia's visit, so her and Aidan's royal romance can begin sooner. Lindsay is telling Willard, Shane, and Tilly, this idea about giving 2 gifts to each child, a box of cookies, one to give away, and a toy to keep, and how this could change the world. Come on, change the world? How is giving 2 gifts to a child, a box of cookies to give away, and a toy to keep, how's that going to change the world? I don't know what kind of kids these people have been around, but the kind of kids I know, they would open both gifts, and they'd be eating the cookies while playing with the toys. I don't see how that's going to change the world. But anyway, I'll go with it for now. Willard asks Lindsay what is going on with her and Aidan. And she tells him that they're just friends. He tells her, hey, he has friends in Parliament, and tells her to get ready to share her big idea with Parliament, this big idea of giving 2 gifts to kids, cookies to give away and a toy to keep. It's going to change the world. Okay. Next, we see Aidan having tea with a baker. He asks the baker what inspired Helena to give the first gift. He tells him the story that Helena gave the first gift to an orphan girl she knew named Lilley. Ooh, the plot thickens. We find out that Aidan's great-great-grandfather Humphrey married a commoner. Ooh, and that his great-great-uncle Clovis gave up the throne for no reason, so that he could marry Helena, who was also a commoner. Come on, that's not fair. Willard and Lindsay get back from talking with Parliament, and again, Willard is still close talking. He tells her 2-gift idea was a big hit. I still don't get it. Think about this. You get a box of cookies, okay? You're told to give them away, but you don't know who to give them to or when to give them to. How long do you hold on to these cookies before you give them away? A week? 2 weeks? And then when you do give them away, you give these cookies to someone else along with a gift, and they're supposed to give these cookies to somebody else. But how long do they hold on to these cookies? A week? 2 weeks? I mean, they give the cookies to someone else. Eventually, someone's going to eat these cookies, right? They're not going to give them to someone else. And what do you think is going to happen when they eat these cookies? Man, those cookies are going to be so stale. They're going to be growing mold. Anyway, I still don't see how this idea is going to change the world. Aidan, he's looking around in the castle. He finds a black and white photo album, and he takes out a picture of this little girl standing in front of an orphanage. So Aidan breaks into Lindsay's room, and he holds the picture up by the painting hanging on the wall, and he realizes that that picture that he took out of the photo album is Lilley, and that she was an orphan. Ooh. Aidan goes to the kitchen to find Lindsay baking some cookies, and he starts to confess his feelings for her. Willard comes in and interrupts and tells them that Princess Dahlia has arrived. Uh-oh. They go out in the hallway, and Willard introduces Aidan to his future bride. Ooh, and we also find out that Dahlia has something going on with her bodyguard, Philippe. Ooh, and Philippe doesn't like the way Aidan is looking at Dahlia. Dahlia tells the queen a story about how great Philippe is. And then the queen fesses up and tells Aidan the story about Lilley, Helena, Clovis, and Humphrey. She tells him that when the king, Clovis is Humphrey's father, when he found out that both his sons were going to give up the throne to marry commoners, he faked Lillibeth's family tree to make people think she was royal. He tells his mother he has fallen for Lindsay, and his mother says, Think about what you would be giving up. She's still not crazy about the idea of those two hooking up. Next day is the gala. And the queen overhears Dahlia on the phone with her father telling him that she loves Philippe and doesn't want to marry Aidan. So the queen goes to see Parliament. Dahlia runs into Lindsay in the hallway, and Lindsay gives her the gift that Monica gave her to give away at the beginning of the movie. So Dahlia opens it up, and it's a heart ornament. So Dahlia decides to follow her heart. Then Dahlia tells Aidan that she is going home and she doesn't want to marry him. Aidan goes to the kitchen to find Lindsay baking cookies. Oh, those cookies that are going to change the world. He asks Lindsay if she cares for him. Oh, they start to kiss, but they are interrupted by Tilly. Come on, Tilly. You don't stick up for your friends and you interrupt kisses. Jeez. Lindsay is in her room talking to that picture of Lilibeth hanging on the wall. Lilith comes in and asks her to be his replacement. She says she is leaving because she doesn't want to see Aidan give up the throne. Lilley pays Lindsay a visit and brings her a dress and convinces her to go to the gala. Because earlier, Lindsay told Tilly that she wasn't going to go to the gala. But Tilly says, no, here's a dress for you. You go. And amazingly, Tilly knows Lindsay's dress size. Incredible. Aidan goes to the gala and asks Willard where Lindsay is. Willard says, oh, she's not coming. Aidan announces Tilly, gets up in front of everyone, and announces Tilly to be Willard's replacement. Then he sees Lindsay entering, looking royal in this red dress. He invites her on stage, and he gives her a gift that he wrapped. And it's obviously he wrapped it. She opens it up, and it's a ring that belonged to Lilibeth. And Aidan tells her that Parliament has approved of him marrying a commoner so they can be together. He gets down on one knee. He proposes. She says yes. He puts a ring on it. They kiss. Everyone starts applauding, and that is the end. Okay. Well, so this movie's okay. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's not a movie that if I saw it was on the schedule, I'd run to the TV and turn it on so I could watch it. But I might have it on in the background, if I was trimming the tree or baking cookies. The major plot hole in this movie is that people in this movie think that giving a child a box of cookies along with a toy is going to change the world. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to me. But if you buy that, hey, you buy the movie. Jen and Brendan, yeah, they get the job done. They don't have the chemistry that Danica McKellar and Neil Bledsoe have in the Winter Palace. I kind of feel that they were kind of like going through the motions making this movie, and they weren't really having that much fun together, but they did all right. But Jen is adorable like she always is in all of her movies. I like the actor who played Willard, and I thought he was fun. And the actress who plays Tilly, she's really pretty. And the guy who plays Shane, I don't know what nationality he is or what country he's from, but he was rocking that Irish accent. Now, GAC made 12 Christmas movies this past year, and they're going to show them throughout this year on Saturday nights when they're not showing new original movies. Now, I haven't seen them all, but I'm guessing that this movie probably is not going to wind up in my top 6. Probably going to wind up in my bottom 6. I'm just guessing, though. But like I said, I haven't seen all the movies yet. But out of the ones I have seen, a couple of them were better than this one. But this movie is not bad. I'd give it a watch if I were you. And if you do watch it, let me know what you think. I can be contacted at GAC TV Podcast across social media. Gackers, thank you so much for being here. I'm Chad Maurice, and until next time, you keep the faith, keep smiling, and keep yakking and gacking.